Hello, this is ThrivingDev. Thanks for tuning in. This is the last part of the live coding exercise for VersionedKeyValueStore for kafka-streams-cassandra-state-store library. And what's left after finishing the implementation for the partitioned type VersionedKeyValueStore along with tests and fully feature complete and code complete. What's left is to do the second type, the global type VersionedKeyValueStore implementation. Let's head straight to IntelliJ and start with the test and then with implementing the new global type solution. Let's start with simply copy-pasting the partition VersionedKeyValueStore test and make that a global VersionedKeyValueStore test. It may not be really elegant to just copy-paste the entire test class, but I think until interactive queries is dropped with a kip in the future, and it's clear how to what additional methods to implement, and if there will be a difference in global and partitioned implementations. I think it's better to simply duplicate the test code and start with that and see if we can refactor or make anything better in the future. Okay, so ideally with the current 4 methods of the VersionedKeyValueStore, which would be put, delete, get latest, and get as of timestamp. We can solve this with both partitioned and global store, so there should be no change to the integration test required, other than switching here to a global VersionedKeyValueStore type. This obviously does not exist, so we will create this method in the CassandraStores class. And let's move that straight under the partitioned VersionedKeyValueStore. And this will return equally versioned by its store supplier. Oh, what's happening? Add this as a to-do, and we simply start with the copy-paste of the partitioned one, and the only change now should really be that we pass in a different repository to the partitioned one, which would be our global CassandraVersionedKeyValueStore repository, which also does not exist. But we are going to create that again by copying our partitioned to start off with global. And import. And now the global VersionedKeyValueStore repo also extends the abstract, implements the CassandraVersionedKeyValueStore repository. It should really take the same arguments for the constructor. And like we designed down here, that should be the latest. It's essentially almost identical to the partitioned one, just without the partition as a column. and without the partition part of the primary key. Or basically the key is the partitioning key of the primary key, and only valid 2 is a clustering key column. So we'll just change that, remove the partition, and that's it for the create table. And I think even the queries are not going to drastically change. If we look at how we implemented the global, the regular global key value store, we usually simply ignore and do not use partition passed in because, well, there's no field in the database. So we just ignore that field. So we will, essentially do the same here. So we just need to remove the partition query conditions. Here as well for the insert. And it's not used in the delete. Well, whenever we removed it already. And now I think we simply would have only 2 parameters here, only the key and valid 2. Same goes for this query, also for the cleanup, and save and batch as well. This was the insert. The first field was the partition, which we simply remove. Well, that was less or easier than I thought without checking up front, but I think that should have been everything. And I think we are already complete with the implementation. Let me give it some thought. No, I think that should be all. So let's simply run our test. Doom, 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 doom. Okay, what else could we do, given that this is all going to work and complete? I think what I spotted is that now with the second store class, implementing CassandraStores and also some Kafka Streams interface, we now do have some duplicate code for fields like name, partition, served stream. I think this is not used in the regular CassandraKeyValueStore, but position and open. And also some of the methods like close, name, flush, persistent. So I think we can provide an abstract base class for CassandraStores, where we can implement some of those parts that are identical between the different different CassandraStore implementations. I think this would be refactoring we can also do to improve the code quality. And tests are progressing fine, so I would not expect that now any of the remaining test cases would fail. And yes, okay, all have run through. Everything successful, which was well, quite easy to fix that. Let's make that commit straight away. So we simply say that this is the implementation of global CassandraVersionedKeyValueStore. I think that's sufficient for a commit. I forgot the JavaDocs. Or we can do that later. Let's now do that refactoring. So let's introduce a new class, AbstractCassandraStore. And I think we can say that abstract class implements CassandraStores. Value store, state store. Let's start with the CassandraKeyValueStore. Okay, sorry. So this one implements and state store. And yes, correct. State store does have those methods we want to implement in the abstract class. I think we can also make that package private. No, let's leave it public in case don't think that would need to be extended by anyone outside of this library, but I think there's also no reason to restrict that. So I think we can say this extends the abstract Cassandra store and it implements the value store. And now I think we can move up some of those fields into abstract class. Not sure if IntelliJ could help with that. In the context, partition, position, and open, all of those as well. I think that we might even be able to keep private, or we can do it protected. It should not hurt. And let's say we now need a constructor as well, which would accept the name context partition. No, not the context and not the partition. We get that from the context on init. So I think those init methods are probably also identical between the Cassandra versioned and the Cassandra key value store. So I think we can say super name yeah, right. Okay, and I think all of those I'm not sure about that query. Let's leave that here as it is right now. No, I think even that one, that's part of state store and position. I think all of this we can move to the abstract class. And now the Cassandra key value store compiles. And the AbstractCassandraStore also compiles. So I think now the version key value store, we can also simply say we extend the AbstractCassandraStore. We remove the name, context, partition, position, and open. Call super name. And now I think we can just drop, before I forget, here we say just call it CassandraStore init. I think we can even say state-store init instead. So we can remove all of those. Did we implement query here? No, we did not. What is the default implementation of query? So I think that query, we should move back to Cassandra key value store. And that's it for that refactoring. We just rerun all tests to make sure, oh, build failed. Did we miss something? One error. Warning. Here. Okay. Right. Okay. While now the tests run, which might take 4 to 5 minutes, I think we can also do the JavaDoc. let me start with the portion of taking, just going to copy paste all of that together. Let's take those two parts that should be identical. And let's take, I think, also those parts here. And then let's take from the global key value store the description. This is not true for the version key value store since the interface does not have many methods. Let me still copy paste that entire part. So create a persistent version byte store supplier. So this can be removed. Global store should not be used and confused with kafka-streams-cassandra-state-store. I think there's no global version global store yet, so I think I can also remove this portion. And I think I only added the note that it's a versioned key value store. I think that should satisfy or describe the new method completely. So yeah, I think that's that. Let's just do this part separately as a commit. And that would then be the refactors Yep, let's leave it like that. And I think that's it also for the refactoring I wanted to do. And with that, I think if all the tests pass, we're already done for today. It was a quick final part, and I think I will only need to complete and update the README file with some documentation. And that should make this feature implementation complete. And the pull request can be merged, and I will probably release this in the coming days. Tests got quite a bit slower now with so many test cases and Cassandra and Kafka containers to be started for each test case individually. So there might still be ways to optimize this in the future. It would be great to reuse the test containers to speed up tests, but for now I'm not really concerned about waiting a bit longer for tests to pass. Since, yeah, I'm not in a hurry with I'm not doing this on a daily basis. I think all the integration tests have passed already. It's building the example modules now. So we should be, ready. And we are ready. All tests pass. So I will commit and push. And with that, I'm going to say and wrap up and say goodbye for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow, and see you for the next feature or some other project I have on the roadmap. Bye-bye.